Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories, where imagination floats you softly into dreamland. Breathe, rest, and sleep.
Welcome, dear one, to Deep Sleep Stories. You've come here tonight to find a gentle place in your mind, a place where soft waves lap at the shore and silver sands shimmer by moonlight. In a few moments, I will share a dreamlike journey with you, an invitation to drift across serene waters in the Maldives, where the air is warm and the gentle breezes carry the scent of the sea. But before we set sail on this peaceful excursion, take a moment to find stillness within yourself. Breathe in, letting your lungs expand with fresh air, and then breathe out just as slowly. Let that exhalation be a soft release, easing any tension from your shoulders, your neck, and even the tiny muscles in your face. You've arrived exactly where you need to be, here in a safe space, listening to a calm voice that will guide you into rest. Gently close your eyes if you haven't already, or simply let your gaze fall on something soothing, something that doesn't strain or demand your attention. Consider the hush of a quiet lagoon, the sparkle of the ocean under moonlight, or the graceful arc of a palm tree. Let your breath flow easily, like soft waves rolling onto a sandy shore. With each inhale, invite in tranquility. With each exhale, release any cares or worries that might weigh you down. This story is your refuge and your gentle harbor, set within a warm island night where stars twinkle in an endless sky. Soon, we will slip into a story that travels across calm waters and silver shores. But for now, allow your thoughts to float, light and free. Feel the gentle weight of your body against the surface that supports you. Let every part of you relax, starting from your head, moving down your neck, into your shoulders, and continuing down your arms and torso, all the way to your legs and feet. You don't need to hold tension. You can let your body sink deeper into rest. Imagine each exhale as a wave receding, carrying away tension and leaving behind a sense of calm. In this safe, quiet space, we begin. A slow, dreamlike story of silver sands in the Maldives and the magic they hold under a star-swept sky. Now see in your mind's eye a gentle twilight that has settled over a secluded stretch of coastline. Under a canopy of dimming light, pale sand glimmers faintly, as if dusted by stardust. Here, on a small island in the Maldives, the hush of the approaching night grows more soothing with each passing moment. A quiet man, serene in his demeanor and thoughtful in his steps, stands at the edge of this shimmering shore. He carries with him a simple sense of awe, as though each shift of color in the sky captures part of his soul. He is alone, yet he is not lonely. Around him, the world breathes with peaceful energy. The tide ebbs and flows. Palm fronds sway in the gentle breeze, and the sweet perfume of the tropical evening drifts on warm currents. This traveler has come here in search of quiet. He left behind busy streets, fluorescent lights, and the whirl of constant digital noise. He seeks a realm where nature reigns, and the lullaby of the ocean is the soundtrack of life. With unhurried steps, he walks, toes sinking into the sand that is still pleasantly warm from the day's sun. The grains shift beneath his soles, cushioning his steps. Each footfall feels like an embrace, as though the island itself welcomes his presence. In the distance, the last hint of sunset lingers like molten gold along the horizon. The sky above drapes itself in hues of deep indigo and soft purple. Far off, a single star peeks through the thinning veil of twilight. It winks and shimmers, as if whispering, "You have arrived. Let the night unfold." His gaze moves across the shoreline. The gentle waves curl and slide up the beach, leaving a faint shimmer upon the pale sand. Little flecks of broken shell reflect moonlight, catching the traveler's eye. He bends down, lightly scooping a palmful of wet sand. It slips through his fingers, leaving droplets that sparkle before merging back into the shoreline. A feeling of contentment settles in his heart, as though he's exactly where he's supposed to be, cradled by the sea's lullaby. Overhead, the sky deepens, welcoming clusters of stars that brighten with each passing minute. The evening air is warm, but not stifling, touched by the gentlest breeze that carries a whiff of salt and something sweet, a hint of frangipani or jasmine. He continues along the water's edge, unhurried and mindful of every subtle wonder. Leaves rustle like quiet applause from a row of coconut palms, and a soft hush settles over the world. The traveler notices that as the sun's final glow fades completely, a hush of starlight envelops everything, casting ethereal glints across the ocean's surface. Now, the sea seems to mirror the sky, each ripple reflecting constellations in a gentle, mesmerizing dance. He pauses, letting the hush drape over him. He closes his eyes for a moment, feeling the breeze stir the fine hairs on his arms, letting the steady, unhurried rhythm of ocean waves fill his mind. When he opens his eyes again, the moon has risen, a slender crescent at first, glowing with a soft radiance. Its silvery light touches the sand, and the traveler feels that this place is alive with nocturnal magic. Somewhere beyond the shore, perhaps hidden by the shelter of palm trees, a faint melody of nighttime insects begins to hum. It is nothing jarring. Rather, it seems to lull and cradle the evening. He takes another step, noticing a tiny crab scuttling across the sand. In the moonlight, the little creature's shell appears almost translucent, a living gem of the night. The crab pauses, as if acknowledging the traveler's presence, then continues on its way, leaving tiny footprints in the sand. Further inland, lush tropical foliage stands like a protective curtain around a tranquil lagoon. There, gentle aquatic life moves among coral and seagrass, drifting in swirling patterns that resonate with the ocean's flow. The traveler hears the faintest echo of water lapping the roots of mangroves. Intrigued by the soft invitation of this quieter corner, he treads closer. Smooth, flat stones line parts of the path, and they feel cool beneath his feet. Each step takes him deeper into the heart of the island, where tall coconut palms and thick-leafed breadfruit trees stand watch in the moonlight. The air is still sweet and gentle, carrying a suggestion of night-blooming flowers. Near the lagoon's edge, the water is still and glassy, reflecting the moon above like a silver coin resting on its surface. Tiny fish dart beneath that shimmering veneer, their silhouettes dancing in the cool hush of the shallow water. On the far side, a solitary heron stands tall, its silhouette a graceful brushstroke against the backdrop of dark palms. Silent and statuesque, the bird waits, ever patient. Then, with one quiet motion, it steps carefully, causing a gentle ripple to form on the lagoon's surface. The traveler observes, entranced by the heron's calm composure. It seems at once both ordinary and profound, nature's own lesson in presence and stillness. Beneath the water's surface, the coral reef begins to stir with subtle nighttime activity. Bioluminescent plankton flicker in the distance, creating faint pulses of light. Snorkelers, if they were here, would gasp at the marine wonder. Tiny glowing orbs drifting around the corals, an underwater sky. But our traveler is content to watch from above, quietly marveling at how life continues its gentle rhythms, especially under moonlit skies. Occasionally, a faint ripple suggests the presence of a ray gliding gracefully along the shallow lagoon floor, perhaps seeking a restful spot for the night. He follows a narrow path that meanders away from the water and towards a small clearing dotted with clusters of sea almond trees. In the distance, the gentle chord of ocean waves persists, softened now by the thick foliage around him. The leaves overhead rustle like a lullaby, stirred by a breeze that carries the comforting hush of the sea. A few steps more, and a simple wooden bench comes into view, fashioned from local timber, its seat smooth from years of sun, salt, and the occasional warm rain shower. The traveler settles upon it, quietly grateful for a moment of stillness. Above him, moonlit leaves catch and reflect the gentle glow, forming patterns reminiscent of lace. Fireflies emerge, their tiny lights flickering in the darkness. Each glimmer appears and disappears, echoing the steady, mellow heartbeat of the island. Here, resting on the bench, he exhales, feeling his body sink into the tranquil hush. The path he walked along the shore, the silver sands that first greeted him, all of it seems to linger, as if accompanying him with a comforting presence. He closes his eyes, hearing the wind travel through palm fronds, hearing the subtle shift of creatures that greet the tropical night. The breeze carries the faint scent of the sea, of salt and fresh vegetation, melding into a natural perfume. Time loses its hold in this space. The traveler feels neither hurried nor idle. He simply breathes, existing in the sanctuary of moonlit palms and silver-sanded shores. When he finally rises, it is with no urgency, only a gentle calling to wander further, to see what other wonders the island holds in its nocturnal hush. He stands, noticing a subtle shift in the air, a silent invitation from the ocean, perhaps. Turning back towards the lagoon, he walks with a soft, measured pace, as though each step is part of a slow, sacred dance. Returning to the shoreline, the sand is cool now, the warmth of the day replaced by a soothing, gentle chill. The tide recedes, unveiling shallow pools here and there. In each pool, the traveler notices reflections of the moon and stars, a tapestry of celestial silver mirrored below. Curious fish flit in these temporary pockets of ocean, glimpses of color in an otherwise monochromatic palette of night. Each movement is muted, calm and slow, in harmony with the quiet hours. The traveler kneels beside one of these pools, observing tiny sea creatures that scuttle along the edges, sifting through the sand for nourishment. As the hours deepen, the moon rises higher, illuminating the entire stretch of beach with a milky glow. It seems as if the island itself has been dusted with powdered silver, a luminous hush draped across every palm frond, every wave crest, and every grain of sand. Seeking the horizon, he gazes out into the vast ocean beyond. Far away, the water merges with the sky in a gentle blur, an endless canvas of dark blues and shimmering lights. The traveler's breath synchronizes with the slow, steady hush of the waves. In, out, in, out. So easy, so effortless. Behind him, a soft rustle signals the approach of someone else. But it's only a brief presence, a local islander, perhaps walking home under the moonlight, or maybe just passing by. A kind nod is exchanged, and the traveler feels a sense of welcome. Even in this solitude, there is a warm undercurrent of shared belonging on this small piece of earth, surrounded by endless sea. Finding a new direction, the traveler steps onto a narrow wooden walkway that extends out over the shallow lagoon. Constructed of weathered planks, the boardwalk is lined with small lanterns that glow like fireflies. They cast warm circles of light on the water below, revealing gentle shapes of drifting fish and coral. The boards creak softly underfoot, but in a pleasant, reassuring way, as though they have lulled countless footsteps before. At the far end of this walkway, a cluster of overwater huts perches above the lagoon, each adorned with gentle lanterns. The huts seem to float in the moonlight, their thatched roofs blending seamlessly with the night sky. He moves slowly, pausing at the midpoint of the walkway to peer down into the water. Even at night, the clarity is mesmerizing. Coral gardens appear like sculptures, and small fish with shimmering stripes dart in and out of their hidden recesses. Now and then, a curious sea turtle might glide through, searching for seagrass. The traveler rests his elbows on the wooden railing, letting the faint ocean spray kiss his skin. There is a sense that this place has existed for millennia in quiet harmony, continuing its peaceful cycles, night after night, under a canopy of stars. He drifts onward, eventually reaching one of the huts. A gentle lamp glows within, its light trickling out through partially drawn curtains. The door is slightly ajar, as though awaiting his presence. Stepping inside, he finds a room so serene and open that it feels like a seamless continuation of the ocean beyond. The floor is polished wood, warmed by the day's sun, and in the center rests a low bed draped in soft white linens. At the far end of the room, wide doors open to a small veranda that overlooks the lagoon. From within, he can hear the constant hush of waves lapping against the stilts that hold the hut aloft. But the traveler does not linger inside yet. Instead, he walks to the veranda and settles onto a cushioned chair, letting the evening breeze envelop him. The sky is velvet black, studded with thousands of stars. They reflect in the sea below, forming an almost continuous tapestry of light. He exhales softly, feeling that each breath he releases vanishes into the night, leaving him progressively lighter. Nature's symphony continues, a gentle hush of waves, the faint whir of insects, the occasional flutter of night birds. Perhaps the hut is a place he intends to sleep, a gentle sanctuary on stilts. But for now he remains half-lulled, savoring the rhythmic cradle of the ocean. His eyelids feel heavy, but not in a burdensome way. Rather, there is a delicious drowsiness, like a child fighting sleep just a bit longer to hold on to the wonder of the night. Softly, a breeze drifts through the veranda, carrying with it the distant aroma of tropical flowers mingling with the brine of the sea. Time continues its languid journey. The moon ascends, painting shifting patterns of light across the veranda floor. The traveler notices how the patterns slowly move, swaying with the drift of clouds overhead. From time to time, a cloud veils the moon, casting everything into an even softer shade of night. Then, the cloud passes, and the silver glow returns, revealing the timeless beauty of the island once more. The traveler's heart feels full and hushed at the same time, an ocean of gratitude pulsing gently within him. Eventually, he rises, stepping indoors. The air is balmy, carrying an echo of the ocean's serenade. He draws the curtains halfway, letting in just enough of the moonlight to keep the space lit with a gentle glow. The bed is low and simple, but inviting, draped in white that glimmers faintly in the moonlight. He settles upon it, feeling the embrace of the sheets against his skin, still warm from the day's soft sun. In the distance, the waves provide a lullaby, their hush unstoppable and eternal. He reflects briefly on all he's witnessed: the silver sands, the gentle crabs and fish, the moonlit lagoon, and the quiet hush of an island that seems designed for rest. His eyelids flutter. The faint rustle of the linen merges with the murmur of the waves. The traveler breathes in, and the sweet, salty air fills his lungs. He breathes out, and the tension in his muscles dissolves, carried away as if on the outgoing tide. Soon he lets go of conscious thought, surrendering to the soft arms of sleep. Outside, the moon continues its voyage across the sky, painting silver trails upon the sea. And overhead, the stars keep watch, gentle guardians of the night. Somewhere in the silence, hours pass. When the traveler stirs, dawn is only a hint of pale light on the horizon. The breeze has shifted slightly, bringing the faint fragrance of dew-kissed leaves and morning blossoms. Yet he does not fully wake. Rather, he drifts in that sweet space between sleeping and waking, letting the soft hush of morning lull him back into deeper rest. Eventually, a subtle bird call mingles with the sound of gentle waves, but the traveler only turns, nestling deeper into the comforting bed. There is no hurry. The day will come when it pleases, and the silver sands will still be there, waiting with open arms. As the sun edges closer to the horizon, the island begins its whispering shift towards a new day. A glimmer of light touches the sky, turning it from deep navy to a faint lavender. The shoreline is still quiet, save for the rhythmic hush of the tide and the occasional chirp from a wakeful bird. Inside the hut, the traveler rests peacefully, still cradled in dreams of moonlit waters and shimmering sand. In his dreaming mind, those silver beaches remain bright, the nocturnal hush continuing in an endless loop of calm. At the edge of the island, palm fronds sway in early morning breezes, while small hermit crabs peek from tiny shells, greeting the first threads of daylight. The lagoon, once illuminated by the moon's gentle touch, now takes on pastel tones of early dawn, gentle pinks that blend with pale gold. For the traveler, this remains a time outside of time, a luxurious reprieve where the ocean's lullaby weaves seamlessly into the ephemeral notes of waking birds. In another corner of the island, lush with greenery and dotted with vibrant flowers, a caretaker might be tending to a garden, watering blossoms that open with the first light. But that distant activity neither intrudes nor disturbs. The traveler, half stirring in the hut, senses only the gentlest shift in the island's energy, as though nature is gently nudging him awake, but with infinite patience. He might feel the faint warmth of the sun's approach through the half-drawn curtains, but he is free to linger, to doze, to drift in the borderland between dreams and waking. Eventually, he opens his eyes. The day has blossomed softly, a tender glow filtering through the curtains. Outside, gulls wheel lazily in the sky, and the sea sparkles under the newborn sun. The traveler stretches, feeling each limb awaken with a gentle pull. The sheets are cool and comforting. Even in daylight, the hush remains, the quietness of an island that has no rush or strain, an island that breathes with the same unhurried rhythm as the ocean. He gets up slowly, savoring the moment. His feet touch the polished floor, and he moves towards the veranda. Stepping outside, he sees that the tide has shifted, the lagoon's color transformed into a palette of tranquil blues and greens. The day is clear, the sky a radiant shade of pastel, but with only a soft sunlight that caresses rather than glares. He inhales the morning air, noting how it feels slightly cooler, fresher than the balmy night before. Still, a trace of that nighttime magic lingers, as though the hush of moonlit hours has seeped into the day, bestowing an unbroken sense of peace. He takes a seat on the cushioned chair and listens. Gentle waves lap against the stilts. Somewhere nearby, a seabird calls, its voice echoing across the water. A faint rustle of leaves, possibly a palm shaken by a passing breeze, reaches his ears. Each sound is like a note in a lullaby that continues even in daylight. He closes his eyes, letting warmth and serenity blanket him. The sun, newly risen, seems to grace him with delicate fingers of light, stirring a calm, contented sensation in his chest. In this peaceful morning hour, time feels fluid. He might recall the details of the previous night's journey, the silver sands glimmering under the moon, the hush of the lagoon, the fireflies flickering among the palm fronds, and the comforting lull of the ocean. These memories merge with the present moment, weaving a tapestry of calm that wraps around him gently, encouraging him to drift once more, this time not into deep sleep, but into a restful awareness that welcomes the new day without hurry or strain. If one were to watch him now, they might see a figure at complete ease, shoulders relaxed, face serene, eyes half closed as he breathes in the soothing sea air. Slowly, the traveler rises, stepping away from the veranda to wander again along the walkway, returning to the main stretch of the island. The boards feel warmer underfoot as the sun's rays grow stronger. Small fish dart in the water below, illuminated in brilliant clarity. Approaching the shore, he notices gentle footprints from the previous night, a soft imprint that has not yet been washed away by the tide. He follows them, a quiet reflection of the path he took beneath the moon. Morning in the Maldives carries its own kind of magic. The traveler sees a few others now, quietly greeting the day with yoga stretches or silent strolls on the sand. Each figure moves as if time is unhurried, as if the only priority is to align with the heartbeat of the island. The ocean surface is calm, glistening under the sun. Closer to shore, gentle waves roll in, the foam fizzing softly at the edges. He dips his toes in the water, surprised by its pleasant warmth, feeling the gentle push of the current. He notices the sun climbing higher, illuminating the palm trees overhead. Their leaves shimmer in a dance with the breeze. Somewhere in those heights, tropical birds might flutter, perching for a moment before gliding to another spot. White clouds drift lazily across the sky, forming soft shapes before dissolving into the horizon. The traveler walks further, the sound of his gentle steps in the wet sand, mingling with the quiet murmur of waves. Everything feels connected. Sea, sky, land, and the beating of his own heart. At times he pauses, crouching to observe tiny shells that dot the beach. They come in various shapes and colors, each a fragment of ocean memory washed ashore. A child nearby might be collecting a few of them in a small bucket, squealing softly with delight before a parent hushes them kindly, so as not to disturb others who might be meditating on the beach. The traveler smiles, recalling moments in his own childhood where the sea felt so large, so mesmerizing, that he could spend hours letting the tide pool around his ankles. A light breeze carries the sound of distant laughter from other guests, presumably enjoying a morning swim. The traveler continues on, unintrusive, guided by a calm curiosity. He spots a tranquil cove ahead, partially hidden by bending palm fronds. The cove's water is a crystalline turquoise, shallow and quiet. Slipping into its embrace, he wades up to his knees, feeling the gentle swirl of tropical water around him. Tiny fish flit away from his legs, scattering like living confetti. The silky sand beneath is soft, welcoming, and warm where sunlight penetrates. For a moment, he simply stands there, the water lapping gently at his skin. Overhead, the sun's rays create a dappled pattern on the shallow lagoon floor. It's as if nature has painted the world in a radiant pastel palette, from the sandy shore to the cloud-brushed sky. The traveler smiles at the realization that no urgent tasks await him. No rush, no schedule, only the quiet blessing of being present, of allowing the island to lull him into deeper relaxation. Eventually, he steps out of the cove, letting the sun dry his legs. Not far from the shore, a resting hammock swings gently between two palms. He notices it for the first time, gently swaying in the breeze as though beckoning him. The traveler moves closer, appreciating how the hammock's ropes look sturdy, yet inviting. The shady nook under these palms offers a dreamy respite from the strengthening sun. He eases himself onto the hammock, feeling it cradle his weight. It rocks slowly, synchronizing with the rhythmic hush of the ocean. His body relaxes further, lulled by the sway. Overhead, palm fronds rustle softly, casting shifting shadows that dance across his face. The hammock is like a cocoon, gently holding him in a timeless space. At first, he gazes out at the shoreline, the silver sands that, even in daylight, retain a trace of moonlit memory. Then, his eyes grow heavy once again, drawn into a soft doze by the combined lullaby of the sea breeze and the hammock's sway. The rustle of leaves and the distant hush of waves form a soothing background music, that encourages every muscle to release, every thought to dissolve into pure rest. In that half-dreaming state, he recalls the moonlit shore from the night before, how it glowed under silver beams, how the tiny crabs danced across the sand, and how bioluminescent plankton shimmered beneath the surface. The memory merges with the warm presence of the morning sun, blending night and day into a single comforting tapestry. The hammock shifts gently, as though the island is rocking him, promising safety and peace. There is no rush to move. Time drifts, intangible, like clouds across the sky. Minutes might pass, or hours, and the traveler remains at ease. The salt-tinged breeze occasionally lifts wisps of hair from his forehead. Nearby, the lullaby of ocean waves creates a trance-like rhythm. In, out. In, out. The traveler's breathing follows suit, each inhale bringing in the essence of the island, each exhale releasing any lingering fragments of tension. He drifts, lulled by nature's artistry. As midday slowly approaches, the sun arcs overhead. Even through the partial shade, the tropical warmth intensifies, wrapping the island in a balmy, comforting embrace. The traveler stirs, shifting to sit upright in the hammock. Through partially closed lids, he sees the sand gleaming in bright sunlight and the ocean shining like liquid crystal. The scene is vivid, yet it retains the serene hush that has become the island's signature. The gentle hush never leaves, day or night. After a moment, he steps out of the hammock, feeling well rested and calm. Perhaps he will seek a light meal, or wander the shoreline further, or simply find another shaded spot to continue daydreaming. Whatever the choice, there is no hurry. The island seems to offer endless invitations to rest, to observe, to experience. He walks slowly, noticing how each footstep in the sand is like a small ritual, connecting him to the earth below. The tide has risen slightly, erasing parts of his earlier footprints. Yet the sense of belonging remains, as though the island has memorized his presence. He finds a patch of soft sand under the dappled shade of a tall coconut palm. Sitting down, he watches the tide play gently at the shore. With each wave, the water rises, then recedes, leaving tiny foam patterns that glisten before sinking into the sand. The lullaby of the waves has a gentle pulse, a steady beat that aligns with his breathing. He closes his eyes briefly, letting the airy hush guide him inward. A sense of peace envelops him, so deep and comforting that it feels as if the island's magic is woven into every grain of sand, every breath of wind, every ripple of water. The day passes with a tranquil slowness. He remains near the shore, dozing or half awake, lulled by a continuum of gentle sights and sounds. Once, he sees a cluster of clouds passing overhead, momentarily shading the beach before drifting on, leaving the sun to reassert its warm glow. Another time, a small flock of seabirds circles above the water, dipping down for fish with graceful precision. Time and again, the traveler finds himself marveling at the simplicity of it all. How merely being present in this space can feel so restorative and whole. As the afternoon light begins to mellow, that golden hour glow dances across the waves, coloring them with faint traces of pink and orange. The traveler exhales a gentle sigh, feeling a deep contentment that settles in his chest. He is reminded of the night before, of how the silver moon had touched the sand, transforming the beach into something ethereal. Soon, another night will fall, and with it, new shades of magic will emerge, all existing in a quiet, unbroken rhythm. The traveler welcomes this cycle, content to drift with the day's shifting light, assured that the hush of the island night will return, coaxing him into peaceful dreams. Now, in the fading daylight, the traveler begins to sense the approaching twilight. Shadows lengthen, the sky takes on hues of lavender and rose, and the breeze shifts once more, picking up a slightly cooler tone. He wanders a final time along the shoreline, acknowledging the gentle transition from day to evening. The hush remains, a faithful companion, guiding him toward rest. As darkness gently descends, the traveler might return to the welcoming hut on stilts, or perhaps remain swaying in the hammock, lulled by the timeless lullaby of the sea. Wherever he chooses to settle, the island's hush will envelop him once more. Under a rising moon, the silver sands will glow again, capturing his imagination and guiding him deeper into the arms of rest. The whisper of waves will cradle him, steady and sure, ensuring that no trace of worry or tension can remain. Each star that glimmers overhead will serve as a tiny guardian, keeping watch in the stillness of night as the traveler drifts into healing sleep. Now, it's time to let this gentle story slip into a softer rhythm. Let the night sky gather around you, wherever you are. Let the hush of the sea cradle your thoughts, guiding them away from any care or burden. Feel how your own breath mirrors the timeless pulse of the ocean, slow, steady, and reassuring. Let your body sink deeper into whatever surface supports you. Let your mind drift, serene and weightless, as if carried on gentle waves. With each soft beat of your heart, release more tension. The silver sands still shimmer in your mind's eye, a refuge of peace and moonlit grace. The tropical breeze whispers across your skin, and you're free to let go. Let your eyelids grow heavy. Let your limbs relax. If any thoughts arise, they can float by like clouds in a quiet sky, passing without demanding your attention. The lull of the Maldives, the hush of the waves, and the soft glow of moonlight are all here to guide you into dreamland. In this final moment, allow yourself to enter deep, restorative rest. Picture that little crab, scuttling across the glimmering beach. Picture the moon tracing a glowing path on the water. Hear the palm fronds rustle like a lullaby. Let these gentle images lead you down a path of peaceful slumber. Embrace the calm, the serenity, the effortless ease of simply being. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well, lulled by the gentle magic of the silver sands and the whisper of the island breeze. May the hush of the Maldives carry you into blissful dreams, and may you awaken refreshed, with your spirit as luminous as moonlight on a tranquil sea. Sleep softly now. Let the lullaby of the ocean soothe you through the night. Sweet dreams.